When I got told that we were doing a project about our backyard biome, I immediately thought about just how boring my backyard was. I mean, it's basically just a grass field, a temperate grassland to the max with almost nothing in it. How am I going to get an entire project out of that? And then I asked myself the question, hold up, why is it a grass field? Because it certainly wasn't always like that. I know exactly why that is, but where's the fun in spoiling it? Anyway, looking back at images from 2011 to 2022, there was actually something in my biome, like cool trees, and not just this. So, what changed? Where did all the organisms go? Well, it's complicated. It's a story of sound environment, ecological invaders, and the destructive power of tiny felines and smart monkeys. As said before, the environment from 2011 to 2022 was relatively stable, and using general evidence and context clues, it's pretty easy to paint a picture of what this ecosystem looked like using personal observations and online resources. Of course, there are some elements that remain constant and would be the same today as before, such as abiotic factors like our fence that can obstruct the movement of certain organisms, a house that provides shelter to some or animals or provides another obstacle for others, and the soil in our backyard, a clay type that's really good at holding water, but still managed to not overdo it and keep it comfortable for most plants, especially the ones that like water. Same for the general climate of Ohio, very temperate, cloudy, and fairly often wet, with temperatures always around 50 degrees to 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Not to forget the giant laser above known as the sun that's quite consistent on providing energy in the form of nuclear radiation. None of this really changed. Then and now, my backyard has always been a temperate grassland and shown all these characteristics. Before 2022, primarily because of an abundance of sunlight and available water, along with the water holding soil, it let plants like goldenrod, taller plants with yellow flowers during the summer and fall, thriving in wetter conditions, and lawn marsh pennywort, I hope I said that right, a disc clover looking plant that also thrives in winter environments, managed to take hold, alongside your typical actors in Ohio neighborhoods like grass and dandelions, which are everywhere. There were also plenty of trees present, specifically sugar maples, taller and rounder organisms that were very prominent in the environment as they tower over all other organisms. They provided shelter for American robins, smaller birds with black heads, red underbellies, and gray backs, and eastern gray squirrels, your most stereotypical looking squirrel, I swear. And theoretically for the house mice. House mice, house mouse, I don't know, small rotund creatures that cling to humanity. But for us, they preferred to live in the garage instead of outside. There was also a significant population of earthworms that acted as the primary decomposers in the environment. And the food web of this economy is as shown. The American robin eating earthworms and occasionally seeds from grass and dandelions, squirrels eating primarily seeds from grass, dandelions, and goldenrod, while house mice feed off of green from dandelions, grass, and lawn marsh pennywort, while all of our producers feed directly from the sun itself, and earthworms eating up all dead organic matter. While it's not exactly the most diverse ecosystem, it was stable and lasted for at least a decade, likely a lot longer than that. But then, what caused such a radical shift if the environment was so stable? Well, the answer is quite simple: an outside force. Or maybe two. Now, back in good old 2022, the pandemic raging, I had just moved house, and that meant that I was now interacting with a completely new environment. This, as one may suspect, then means that I may have been, say, non native to this environment. But not just me, also my three very special friends who walk on all fours, my kitties, ferocious beasts of the devil himself. Because, you see, when we moved in, we managed to completely destroy this native ecosystem. My cats are hunters, without a doubt, and they made it their number one priority to, within the first year of us living here, eradicate all life that wasn't themselves. I don't know whether that includes me or not, but I haven't died yet. And since they had no native predators while hunting, they drove every animal to near complete destruction. They immediately became the apex predator, dominating all other life. Then, this is where I come in. Within that first year, me and my parents also completely removed all sugar maples from the ecosystem, destroying the homes of the entire American robin and gray squirrel population, driving any survivors into neighboring ecosystems. Once these two were gone, our cats moved on to the eradication of the house mice, which again went really well for the cats. And the loss of sugar maples meant that my backyard became even worse at regulating water in the soil, drowning any goldenrod and lawn marshy pentwort, sure, that used to be there. The event of me and my cats entering my ecosystem completely destroyed it, leaving me with a pretty depressing food web of sun grows dandelions and grass, cats eat grass, and earthworms eat all the dead stuff. And that's the extent of all energy flow. And theoretically, you could draw one more line here as a possible line of energy transfer, but I don't know about you. I'm not going up back and eating my cats anytime soon, so I'll just leave that blank. Well, what are we left with? We had an ecosystem that was healthy, well off even. It had a continuous cycle of life and death that fed itself and kept the environment running. Then two invasive species, Felis catus and Homo sapiens, got control of the reins and altered its trajectory forever, eradicating multiple species from the ecosystem and significantly lessening biodiversity and the stability of the biome as a whole. It led to collapse that changed the food web from this to this. And who's to blame? Well, definitely humans, of course. Duh. If we had just stopped our cats from incessantly hunting down all living things down in a pursuit of unrelenting bloodlust, and maybe didn't cut down a few trees, my biome would have stayed relatively intact. But oh well. Sucks to suck, I guess.